What's going on, everybody? It's me, Ren, with two N's, favorite little boy in the whole wide world. Welcome to my Outlast 2 review, the special painkiller edition. I did just have surgery a couple days ago, so I might not sound as energetic as I would like to in this video, but that's okay, we're gonna push through it. Is this disrespectful? Is this disrespectful? What about this? What about this? Is this disrespectful? I don't know, I didn't read the Bible. Is it? I love horror games. I love feeling afraid. I love being spooked. Outlast 1 was a really decent horror game. It had a pretty decent story, some real effective jump scares, and a few memorable moments. And like I said, I love horror games. Unfortunately, Outlast 2 is not a horror game. Outlast 2 is a borer game because it's freaking boring. On top of being boring, Outlast 2 is repetitive and predictable. Oh, come on. Oh my god. This whole horror trend of having no weapons and your only options are to run or hide is so old hat now. It's been going on since 2010 when Amnesia: The Dark Descent came out. Actually, now that I think about it, it's been happening before that because they also made a game called Penumbra where it was the same basic idea. So nearly 10 years we've had this. Now Amnesia, that was a very scary game. I have some old footage of my friend Patrick playing that back in 2010. The footage doesn't look great because it was dark in my room, and the game is also pretty dark as well. But here's the thing, I was too afraid to play Amnesia on my own. The only reason I saw the end of that game was because I watched Patrick get through it. Patrick had no idea he was being filmed, so all of his reactions are genuine and real.
Oh my god, grab the fucking door! Ah!
You just can't fake that. You hear me, Markiplier? You just can't. But I guarantee you, if Patrick played Outlast 2, he wouldn't be very scared. I consider myself quite the coward when it comes to proper horror in video games. When I played through PT, I sweat so much that I had to change my shirt. I had to turn on the light, turn on my Xbox, and join my friends in an Xbox Live party in order to continue through the game. The footage you're seeing right now is of Patrick playing through PT.
No. Hit X on that.
If you'd like to see the full video of Patrick playing PT, let me know down in the comments and I can upload it to this channel. But this was filmed about a year after PT had released. At that point, I had shown PT to all of my friends, I had seen several YouTube videos about it, and I had beaten it myself several times. Yet, to this day, that game still scares me, still gives me chills. And you can actually kind of hear my fear in the video.
Sounds like she's in there. Is she? Yeah, she's right. Wait. Yep.
Oh god!
That's her. Don't move. Don't turn around. Look left. Look left. Look away from it. Get out.
I bring this up because Outlast 2 is the least afraid I've ever been in a horror game. I never felt any fear, any tension. All I ever felt was boredom. Almost every jump scare in the game was predictable, to the T, to the moment of loud sound. Oh, I see, I'm supposed to be scared. Now, I'll admit that there was one jump scare that did get me early on, and it was this one, at the beginning of the game.
Jesus Christ.
There was at one point later on where I did get extremely scared, but that was my fault. Later on in the game, you get to a mine shaft, and you have to push this minecart in order to progress. After I did that, the minecart went downhill. I saw this wooden obstacle here, and I knew that I had to go back and get the minecart, so I started to sprint back down to where the minecart went, but the game had already shot it back towards me in order to be more convenient. That's the thing that scared me the most. Apart from that, this game did absolutely nothing for me. The whole game boils down to this. Get to a new area, walk around the new area, find a thing or get to a certain point, then a thing comes and then you run away from something. You run away from that thing down a linear path. Rinse and repeat. Except, that's easier said than done. because it's not always clear exactly where you have to go when you're getting chased. So there's a monster behind you. You run away, try a random direction, hit a dead end, boom, you're dead. So this time you decide that you'll close the door to slow the monster down. Boom, you're dead. Shit! You make a little progress, and you see something. You see like a guy behind the door, so you try to open the door. Why would you even bother putting that guy there if he's not gonna do anything? Boom, you're dead. So then you actually wind up going the right way, but then for some reason, boom, you're dead. So now that you actually know where to go, and you open up the correct door, and now, since you've made so much progression, it's unclear if I should turn right or left. Then I briefly see a light to my left. So I turn left, and why would you even bother putting that guy there if he's not gonna do anything? Boom, you're dead.
You motherfuckers!
So now, okay, you got a pretty good idea of where to go. You close the door to slow him down, continue running to get to the point where you last left off, then boom, you're dead. Why? Who knows? Then you give up and you just say, fuck it, because you're pissed off. Boom, you're dead. Then you do everything right. You run through all the hallways, turn right instead of left, and boom, that's it. You're all done. It was simple as that. It was as simple as that. And this wasn't a one-time deal. For about half of the chasing sections, it took me more than a few tries just to understand where I was supposed to go. And I like to think that I have pretty good game sense. I've been playing games for 25 years. I wasn't on painkillers when I was playing it. I never had this problem in the first Outlast or in Amnesia, so I know it's not me. It can't be me, because I'm a fucking pro. But when you get killed over and over and over again in the same section, it loses all of the tension that the game was building up. All that fear gets thrown out the window after your 5th death, as you keep getting sent back to that checkpoint over and over. Frustration starts to settle in, and by the time you've completed that section, you're no longer immersed in the game. And then when you get to the next chase section and start getting chased by something, you know it's no big deal if you get caught. It'll just reset you back to 30 seconds ago and you get to try again. It completely removes all of the fear from the game. Because if I don't give a shit about getting killed, then what's supposed to scare me? If I don't give a shit that I'm getting chased, what am I supposed to be afraid of? If I know every single jump scare that's about to happen, where is the tension? What is there to do in the game? Well, I'll answer that. There are certain sections of the game where you have to be stealthy, and you gotta be a sneaky Susan by sneaking around enemies, hiding from them, you know, that sort of thing. But those parts of the game are pretty easy as long as you're patient. The enemies are also incredibly easy to bait as well. I mean, just look at how casually I juke this monster out. Pretty simple stuff. Apart from running and hiding, you spend most of your time exploring. And exploring is boring. Let's take a quick look at this part of the game right here, where you row your boat gently down this stream, merrily, for 15 fucking minutes. Let me ask you something. Does this look scary to you? Does this look challenging to you? Does this look fun to you? Well, let me tell you something. It isn't. This game has absolutely nothing to it. No puzzles to figure out. No additional mechanics. Nothing. Just explore, find a thing, get chased, explore, hide from people, get chased, and that's it. Over and over again for 6 hours. I know Amnesia had some linear sections where you get chased, but those were terrifying. And it also had sections you had to be a sneaky Susan and stealth your way around some enemies, but those were incredibly tense and engaging. Take a look at this part right here. There's this invisible monster in the room with you, and you gotta throw a piece of meat across the room to bait the monster over to it, so it starts eating it. And as it's eating that meat, you have got to book it over to the door, which takes forever to open up. And as you're turning that wheel, trying to open that door, you can hear the monster has finished its meal. And now it's walking right towards you, and you can hear it getting closer and closer, and you're screaming as you try your damnedest to open the door as fast as possible. And you finally do. You get into the room and you jump up on top of the platform at just the perfect time, and now you're finally safe, and you laugh to yourself with relief. And Outlast 2 didn't have anything like that. Not even close. And even Amnesia had some puzzles. They were really basic and easy to figure out, but at least there was something there to shake up the gameplay a little bit. Outlast 2 didn't even bother. If I had to give Outlast 2 a score, I'd give it a 3 out of 10. It gets a 3 because the graphics are, they're really decent. It's got some really good visuals too. Some creative rooms, and the sound design is incredible. And the story was decent enough to make me want to push through the game's bullshit, even though the ending was an absolute letdown. So lackluster, just like the rest of the game. I will say though, that this game does have one of the most well-written notes I have ever found in a horror game. Dear Father, our loving God continues to bless me with visions, and I know more certain than ever that the enemy is nearer with every day. I was scrubbing the stains from the floor of Daniel's room when the blessed music rose inside me and sank me into true sight, where I saw a creature like the burning sun, but with the inward rings of teeth upon teeth, and dangling beneath limbs that I took to be arms, but were cocks that rose in child and purpose. And as this monstrous sun descended, it fucked the earth and birthed some great and slouching horror from the fire. I was filled with the same fear, so great that I could not breathe nor move, and saw myself all those years back, blinding Daniel with the lie, and tried to weep but could not. And when I woke, I found myself wet with lusting, painfully desirous to feel a man inside of me. And the feeling was not so far different from the fear. I tried to comfort myself with your teachings, terror as joy in the movement of God, but I would take greater comfort in your manhood inside me, and a firm prayer that the Antichrist be strangled in my womb. The most faithful of your flock in holy longing, Lisa. Somebody had to sit down one day and think of that, and then write it. And that's just kind of awesome. Really though, I spent a majority of my time with this game either being incredibly frustrated or incredibly bored. Outlast 2 fails to be a good video game because it's not engaging. And the entire time I was playing it, I wished I was playing something else. I really, honestly, would not recommend this game to anybody. I paid $30 for this thing, and I really, really wish I hadn't. The demo was awesome. The first Outlast was real good, and I'm nothing but a sucker for actually spending money on this trash. But that's all I got for this video, folks. Let me know down in the comments what you guys would like to hear me talk about next.